You could even go so far as to say, there has to be a transition on the sales and marketing side over to the CPM when the game starts. It just has to happen, and we don't do a good job at that. So right now, once we close the deal and move forward, we get everybody involved: back office, front office, team on the field, and then the client is going, man, I don't even understand the game. And so maybe separating that out, we could be a lot further along than we are now.
I think that one of the things that you don't see on the field as much, but what happens off the field between quarterbacks and the players that are making the plays is they're having discussions off the field about how they're being played or what the defense setup is. So it's just the interaction going on. So in the back office or when the cameras aren't on them, so that when the cameras are on and the fans are all watching, that they can perform to the best of their abilities. It just shows that having an open discussion and getting the quarterbacks to get a feel for how the actual playmakers are being played that day can help the overall offense.
Yeah, there's 6 days a week where the third string isn't just sitting on a bench. They're out on the practice field with the other guys,
right.
Preparing for the next big execution.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
I like the idea of the play and the fact that execution is going to be a series of plays. When a football team gets together at summer training, summer camp, they're going to be pretty rough. First time they go through the plays, especially new plays that get added to the book and rookies are getting involved. And what we have to think about is how we can get to the point where our plays get smooth, easy to communicate, high quality. And then it's just a series of plays that you're calling versus trying to invent, how are we going to do this now? Okay, we got to get this information to the client. What steps have to happen? It'll become, it's time for kickoff, guys. And everybody knows their roles. Very little extra communication has to happen. When we get there, we're executing plays. That's going to be really nice.
Yeah, I like it because it keeps it simple and we can relate to it. And that will drive focus, which drives priority and being consistent in our plays. And I did have a chance. My wife took me to that movie Saturday, and I don't know what to expect of it, but they didn't go after. It's about the Oakland A's. I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but it's about the Oakland A's, and they didn't go after the guy that hit a home run or got the most hits. They looked at on-base percentage and consistency in their play, and how many times they get on base, right? And if we can increase our consistency and our on-base percentage in the marketplace and continue to build awareness about Crown, that's how we'll be a super team like the Oakland A's turned into and won 20 straight games.
Was it 20 or 21? Now we're ruining the story for everybody.
I think it'll be interesting when we start talking about roles. What you see yourself in as far as your talents and what role you think you play and you're best at versus what your colleagues in the back office think. I'll throw some examples. The high school quarterback is the superstar that gets recruited and everybody wants him to switch to play running back.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks he should be a quarterback, but everybody sees this running back talent. Or LeBeau, great defensive coordinator, horrible head coach. Certain roles fit certain people. And it may not be what you think that role is. I'm sure LeBeau thought he was going to be the greatest head coach ever when he decided to take that position, but he fell back to where he really makes it work.
Yep. And Moneyball, that plays out in Moneyball, where they take the catcher and put him at first baseman. And then they ask him, how many times you played first base? And he said, never. Right? It wasn't about his skill set. What's that?
Spoiler alert.
Sorry. That's not the story, but it's an example of what's going on. The point was, it's not about this guy learning or even learning how to play first base or the skill sets he had at first base. It was about the team that they were trying to put on the field. And that was more important than that individual player in that individual role.
It's worse than YouTube. It's already out on your website.
That's awesome.
I also think it's a good analogy because being a company that's made up of so many different people, remembering that we're all going towards the same thing and we're all working together with all our different talents to get to one point. So the idea of driving balls to the touchdown is, I think, a perfect fit.
Is that really on the way? That's on Dev. Nice. Thank you. For those of you on the phone, we're laughing because they've already got the picture of me wearing a leather helmet out on the website. It's on the dev environment if you want to go see it. Any other comments?
I think you should put it up there permanently for a while.
That's up to you guys. It's not about me, right? It's about the team.
Once it's out there, it never really goes away.
That's what I'm afraid of. Can you stay afterwards?
If you see Moneyball, there's also a very good scene towards the end with the Red Sox. It's either the owner or GM, I can't remember, about change. It's just a very short scene,
Right.
but he talks about how the continual change and being able to embrace it. And I think, like going with McFarland and how each time revisiting and continually changing to stay relevant and able to compete in the marketplace.
Mhm.
I thought that was a really good scene.
Other thoughts?
Hey, this is Matt. I got a couple things. First, I feel like we've been playing backyard football for years, so it's nice to see that we're looking to get some structure behind it. The one concern that obviously comes out is, we want to be the Steelers, the Colts, the Patriots, but how do we prevent from being the Raiders, the Bengals, the Browns? We need to be able to invest the time to really make sure we get this right. Otherwise, we have the risk of falling short of the goal. The second is, I'm not sure I agree with Kyle's analogy of the client project manager being the quarterback. I think they're more of the coach or a coordinator, and the quarterback is more of, a technical lead or somebody who's on the field able to make that audible when needed.
So a couple comments. Outside of the fact that I just think it's awesome that you said nobody wants to be the Browns. Coming from you. Yeah, self-deprecation. So what you bring up, though, is a great example and a great point that I want to drive across. It's once we get the roles down, it's not a debate, right? So it's just an analogy. It's not a debate. And so right now, the client program manager is the quarterback. They're out on the field, and they're making the calls. That's what we've called as of now until that's changed. And I know that there are maybe good reasons why you could make a case for that being a coordinator or not, but that's what we got to get away from. We got to decide what it is and then stick with it and run with it, even if it doesn't fit perfectly. And if that changes when we finalize this, then that changes. But for now, the client program manager is the quarterback out on the field running the game, and that's a recent change that we've made. It's the only role definition that we've made actually right now. And we do need to commit time to actually improving this, because at the end of the day, playing football in a stadium with no fans gets old after a while. Other comments?
Hard to fund, too.
What's that?
It's hard to fund, too.
It is hard to fund them.
Anything else before we finish up? Okay, guys, thanks for indulging with me. And then stay tuned. There'll be more.